9:06, and it is time for the forum here with your host, Pat Sacco.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
My God, the date today is the 31st.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, that would be my wife's birthday, and I would be in very deep trouble.
Is that tomorrow?
That is tomorrow.
Oh, we have. Oh, thank God, there's another day left.
There's
in
another
this
day.
month of May,
Yes.
and then we're heading into the 6-month month.
The 6-month?
Yeah, the half
Mhm.
year month.
Mhm.
Wow. By the end of June, you're gonna be half a year older.
I'm going to feel 10 years older because of the heat.
Well, thank God for air conditioning.
Yeah.
I can feel it going on right now. Well, we are here today on the forum. I have a guest with me. His name is Caleb Roger.
Yep, that's correct.
I pronounced it correctly, too.
That's right. The first one for the day.
And Caleb and I met at a networking breakfast. No. We connected.
Yeah, we connected in a networking breakfast.
Right.
Yeah.
I just had a friend of mine. I got a call from an employment place, a business in Vero Beach. And this lady said, this woman gave your name as a reference. And when she said it, I said, oh my God, Christina. Oh my God. Well, Christina worked here, and I know Christina quite well.
Okay.
And it's nice when you connect, because I said to the lady, well, we do a senior networking breakfast concept in Vero as well.
Yeah.
She said, well, I'm not aware of that. I said, when Christina comes to work, just mention senior networking. And she'll say, oh, yeah, well.
Yeah.
So we're going to hook them up to come also
Oh, nice.
to interact and meet people.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, the one that I went to the last month there, it was actually really friendly. A lot of people seemed like they were getting along. Obviously, the breakfast was good. That's most important, right?
Yeah, the thing. But you sat in a corner by yourself. You did sit with 8 or 9 people. And
Oh, no. I actually spent the whole first part of it like trying to get to know everybody.
Good.
Yeah, no, I left with like 15 contacts.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And that's really important. This happened several years ago. Well, a couple of years ago. A long story. We were having breakfast, and the building that we were in was being taken over the next day by a new company.
Okay.
And one of the mucks
Mhm.
from the new company came to the breakfast.
Sure.
Well, I met him, and I happened to sit with him. It was just sort of by chance. And before the meeting, one gal came up to me and said, if you hear of anything, let me know. I'm looking for another job. She's a marketer.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said, this is really nice. I said, we can be an employment agency.
Right.
I said, she told me that she was looking for a job. And he said, well, what kind of job was she looking for? And I said, a marketer. He said, this funny look came over his face. He said, I'm looking for a marketer. Introduce me. He hired her.
There you go.
And then last month,
Did he give you a tip?
no, I think it was 2 months ago in Vero, this gal showed up. She was a nurse. And I said, hi. And she started crying, coming in the door. I said, well, I'd lost my job.
Yeah.
I'm here to maybe look around to see if anybody knows if there's a job available or whatever.
Sure.
I said, just hang around afterwards and talk to some people. I got an email from her a few days ago. She said, I got hired by one of the people I met
Okay.
at the breakfast. That's yes. Good. That's what it's all about. It's a community.
Sure.
We're founding a community. We're interacting with each other. We're helping each other. Somebody's looking for something,
Yeah.
filling in. I once had a guy who was doing tile at our condo.
Yeah.
And got to talking with him, and I found out he was the president of the Spanish Businessmen's Association of St. Lucie County.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know either. I said, Juan, come to one of our meetings, meet some people. And he did.
Yeah.
I saw him a couple of weeks later. I said, how'd you like the breakfast? He said, it was great. He said, I got 3 orders. Once I mentioned I did tile, he said, after the meeting, people
Right.
came up and said, oh, come and look at my thing. I wanted to get,
Sure.
So that's, we're doing like a little world of our own.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I find that those networking events, and that seemed like when the ones that are close knit, where everybody's kind of helping each other out, that's what you find is that when you need something, somebody's there. And then when somebody else needs something, it gives you the opportunity to be of service as well.
There are some organizations that say, come and shop at my business.
Right.
These people say, come and shop with me.
Right.
I have a business, but I
Yeah.
want to get to know you as a person.
Sure.
We're all in this together kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, also I find that like when you're doing events and stuff like that, a lot of those people want to come and participate with it as well.
True. Okay, let's go back. You were originally from,
I am from the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York.
and whereabouts?
A town called Marion in Wayne County. It's right by Lake Ontario.
That's where the Heinz Barracks are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
true. Mhm.
Because I grew up in East Rochester.
Right. We had talked about
Right,
that
right
when we
down the
went
road.
for coffee. Yeah.
Heinz barracks were when they brought German prisoners of war.
Mhm.
They were in the Heinz barracks.
You want to know something funny? Is that I lived there from, pretty much my whole life, right up until about 25. I never knew what the place was called.
Just a bunch of buildings over there.
Well, they had changed it around. And they started like renting it out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So, but,
right.
I mean, they still kept it as a historic place.
The claim to fame was my little town. See, Rochester is ringed in with
Mhm.
all these little towns. They can't expand.
Right.
You've got Marion on the west side. You've got East Rochester, Pittsford, Penfield, Fairport,
Yeah.
Brighton. All those things are ringing in. Henrietta,
Yeah.
trapping
Centerport, yeah.
Rochester. So East Rochester was about 5 miles
Yeah.
east of Rochester. And our
Hence the
claim,
name.
our claim to fame was we had a railroad factory.
Okay.
We made box cars and coal cars.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
That's impressive.
And all my family and I worked in that car shop.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Some of my relatives got their 40-year watch
Okay.
from that. It
Yeah,
was
that's a big
dirty,
thing back.
dirty, filthy, noisy place to work.
I bet you it was a good
and
time.
they had
though.
the cars on cables.
Okay.
And every 15 minutes they blew a whistle and they moved the car.
Okay. A
So
nice
you better
little
get your
system set
job
up.
done in 15
Yeah.
minutes because you got the next one to do.
Right.
Putting roofs on the box cars, riveting. That was a fun job. I bucked rivets for a
Okay.
while. I was inside the car and I had this long metal bar, which was kind of indented on the end.
Sure.
And when a hot rivet came in, I had to push that bar against that rivet while the riveter riveted into place. So all day long, jump out, jump in the next one.
So, question: do you feel that now? In the joints from doing
No,
all that?
emotionally,
Yeah.
I could. It was a job. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you had to have a job.
Mhm.
Uh,
I get that.
well, now it's an industrial park. They changed it all.
Right.
But the poor old car shop, and you had to go under the railroad tracks to get to work. It
Okay.
was a tunnel.
Yeah.
And these old men would walk to work real slow through the tunnel. When the whistle blew, they ran through
Yeah.
the tunnel. I said, you know how to run?
That's right.
I gotta go home. Anyway, okay. So you were in Marion till
Yeah, until about 25 years old. I mean, that's where my whole family's from that town. I mean, I got my grandparents who live there, my dad, all my aunts and uncles and cousins. I'm like related to half the town. So
yeah. We had how many blocks? Everybody looks like me.
yeah, that's right. So I lived there from obviously birth till about 25. My father was a brick mason in that area, so he was pretty well known. He got all the jobs done. So I started doing that probably about 13 years old. And then I was in a car accident, probably 2012, where it kind of put me in a wheelchair for a couple of months. And, obviously I couldn't go back to, masonry after that. So, I started I went to college for a little bit, really didn't, find that to be, I couldn't settle on something like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I didn't want to keep paying,
Right.
and it was like,
Where'd you go?
$5,000. Finger Lakes Community College.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went there in Canandaigua for a couple of years before I was like, I kept bouncing majors and I couldn't really settle on anything. And I got a call from a buddy. He said, hey, you want to come down to, I'd been flipping cars on the side, like buying them from the auction and then turning them around. And I had a friend call me up, said, hey, you want to come down to West Palm and, sell cars at a dealership, like full time. And honestly, I've always hated the cold and
Why not?
right. I had nothing else going on. So, and I came down here in 2013. So, and then I've been here ever since. So, no, I came down to West Palm and then I went into selling cars for, from there.
And you did something else before this.
Before real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I was in the car sales for probably about a year. And my wife was like, hey, I'm tired of the 90-hour weeks. You got to find something else. And I know they say happy wife, happy life. So I went and, I found something else. I was doing phone sales for a little while at a healthcare place. I was talking to patients and, trying to figure out what's the best, option for them. And I switched jobs to a different place in the same field with a salary rather than commission based. And that place shut down. And then I was like, I didn't know what to do because I had my 7-year-old, or no, she wasn't 7. She's 7 now, but I had my daughter and she was probably 4 at the time. And my wife was pregnant. So I had to figure out something. And
Oh yeah.
you got to do
Or
something.
hurry up and have the baby. I'll take care of him. You go to work.
That's right. That's what. Well, I've been trying that ever since. And so, but after that, I had gotten came into some money again, and another car accident. I have really bad luck with the car. It was a stop sign. It wasn't my fault. Was I?
No, those are 8-sided red signs,
Yeah.
and it says STOP, spin tires on pavement,
Right.
because nobody ever stops at them. I talk about this years ago.
Mhm.
I'm coming down Green River Parkway to Jensen Beach Boulevard, and I needed to make a left
Yeah.
to go to Jensen Beach. There was a little old lady sitting in front of me, waiting for a left. She looked to the right, looked to the left, and on red, made a left. On red. I put my car in reverse as she was doing, because I figured if a truck comes along,
Yeah.
it's going to be debris.
That's right. A little shrapnel.
Well, wouldn't you know, the other night was Tuesday night.
Mhm.
Tuesday night, I'm coming home from an event. It was about 9:00. I get in. I'm coming down US 1, and I wanted to turn to what is it? Right where the new expressway's coming. Green River.
Okay, Green River Parkway.
Yeah, right. I'm stopped at the light. A guy in front of me, 2 guys in front of me. The light is red. Nobody coming. He made a left. Behind him was a policeman. He kicked that, that light on. They pulled over. He made a left on red again. What's the matter with these people?
It was a little on the side.
I bet. Well, he was. I'm sure he was getting grilled a little bit by
Yeah,
the
I'm sure.
policeman. A left on red.
Yeah.
Now you can make a right on red even when the sign says don't do it, but to make a left, that's really you're
Yeah.
going to work
Well, I mean,
at
you're
that one.
putting everybody in danger. You're cutting right across all that traffic.
I almost put my car in reverse
Yeah.
again.
I'm sure. Me too.
I'm looking. Is there any cars coming? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple accidents.
Yeah.
Are you prone to car accidents?
I
Apparently,
mean,
yes.
yeah, I've been in quite a few of them, unfortunately. I've never been the driver, though, or at least the cause of the accident, which is so I don't even want to talk about that. So,
Okay. After you rehabbed,
yeah, right. So after we got back on my feet after that one, I had a friend who was selling real estate. Like I said, I was tired of car sales. And he said, "Hey, you want to come give this a shot?" I had a couple bucks to make it, get through the, like the learning. Everything
Yeah,
has its learning
right.
curve. So I had a couple bucks to get me through the learning curve, and it's kind of been, downhill ever since. So
uphill, well,
Yeah.
downhill. Okay.
and
Across the street.
that's right. So I sold real estate in West Palm for the first 2 years of my career, because that's where I lived. And then my lease was up at my property, and we needed a bigger house. We had the new baby, and my wife wanted to move someplace a little quieter, and so she said, "Hey, let's go up to Port St. Lucie." And then we moved up here, and I've been up here ever since.
And it's quieter up here.
Yeah, it is quiet, less
Less-
traffic.
Yeah, less frantic
hmm
business.
Yeah, so.
Um,
A little cheaper, a little more family friendly. There was a lot of activities and stuff going around here all the time. So,
True.
Mhm.
And the Treasure Coast is unique.
Mm.
I mean, I've been here a long time,
okay,
and how long? 29 years, I think.
sure.
I came here when I was 6, so this makes me 35,
Yeah.
right? Well, Mike can almost say that he came here when he was 6.
I came here. Yeah, no, yeah,
About 6.
no, well, 26, but yeah,
Well,
in that
same
in that
thing.
There
same
was-
ballpark.
there's a 6 in it.
There's a 6 there.
When I said 6, you notice he perked up.
That's
I
right.
have a 6.
So,
Not anymore. You don't have a 6.
No, not anymore.
Mike, where
Uh,
did you come from?
Orlando by way of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so you kind of bounced from PA to Orlando.
Yeah, born in Pennsylvania, grew up in Orlando, came
Okay.
down here.
Okay, so you had like the Florida personality growing up then.
Yeah, but stay inside and hide from the sun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was it.
Now, would you like to move to Orlando again?
Yeah, I
Okay.
would.
What's
Okay.
stopping you?
Roots,
Okay.
Roots. Yeah.
roots down here.
Yeah,
I get that.
especially when
Jobs, house,
Dad
family.
needs you at that shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike works for his father besides doing all this stuff.
Oh man, how many jobs do
Because
you have?
Dad says you will
4?
do this.
What?
4, quantity over quality.
Sure. Okay, I can appreciate that.
Mhm.
And does the wife work or?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, well, all right.
Yeah,
They have no wee ones yet,
Okay.
no, just the French bulldog.
and
Sure.
we're not planning on one yet.
No.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
When she gets tired of work, she's going to start talking about.
yeah. That's
Having a
right.
baby.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what happened
That's
to
right.
me.
You got maybe 2 weeks.
hmm
Tell you, once you pop, you don't stop though. When you have one, then 2 years later, like, oh, well, let's have another baby.
Oh no, the Pringles.
That's right.
Hey, having
God.
children is wonderful. It's
Mhm.
one of the most wonderful things in the world.
It's
You
expensive.
see that little kid and you think, I did that.
Mhm.
But see, there's a little phrase here. When a man looks at a boy and says, that's my son, that's an assumption. When a woman looks at that boy and says, that's my son, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's a fact.
It's terrible. Oh God.
We had a boy. We had a son. It was so perfect. I didn't want to have any others because he was so good at what he did. Actually, he's a good man. He's a really good man.
Sure. Good. Does he live here?
No, he lives in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And he works for the Consumer Financial Protection Agency.
That sounds impressive. I'm sure you're proud.
They go after fraud.
Okay.
They go after fraud. They make a lot of money.
Okay.
Collect a lot of money.
I'm sure.
Remember the Wells Fargo thing, the $450 million fine?
Mhm. Yep.
That's his agency.
Nice.
They got it. They're the only agency in the government that does not get an allotment from the government.
Really?
They give money to the government. They have 2,000 employees. They collect enough money to pay all those salaries and have extra money to give to the government.
Wow.
Now, if every government agency did that,
Sure.
but
Leave 'em-
it's obviously there's a lot of fraud going on out there,
Right.
businesses and banks and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's good to have some agency that will, and they also help individuals. Not
Oh, really?
just. I have a friend who has a home in New York,
Okay.
and she got a notice saying it was time for the taxes.
Mhm.
So she called her bank and said, send the money for the taxes.
Yeah.
Well, 3 months later, she got a foreclosure notice.
Oh.
And she called New York and they said, you never paid the taxes. She called the bank and they said, well, we don't know. We sent the money. Well, she called the Consumer Financial Protection Agency.
Yeah.
And this woman said, I'll take care of your problem.
Okay.
The next day, her bank called and apologized to her because they found they flipped one number.
Oh, okay.
They put a wrong number in.
Right. Yeah. Put like a 0 and a 1.
Yeah,
instead of
some
a
of
one.
this
Yeah.
long thing. Right away, man, they responded. Got a call from Washington.
Yeah.
Oh my God, let's move on. So they'll help down to the individual.
Okay. That's impressive. Usually they find.
And then she took care of the New York thing too. They got them to waive the
Mhm.
foreclosure, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She did all this for them.
Well, that was nice of them.
And that's what they do. That's their job.
Oh, good. That's impressive.
So I speak of that agency with fondness
Okay.
because they're doing a good job.
Fair enough.
Well, 1 out of 47,000 is not
Right.
bad.
Yeah. It's a start, right? Progress,
start.
not perfection.
Well, we're a work in progress. We're still a work in
Yeah.
progress in this country. A few more things we need to clear up, right, Mike?
That's
A
right.
couple more.
Couple more.
And
That's it. Only a
we'll be
handful,
there.
right?
Yeah.
We'll be there. Yeah, right. I don't know if I could stay in the perfect country. Nothing to talk about.
Oh God.
Yeah, how was your meal? That's about it.
Yeah. Right. Mm.
Okay, now here you are
Yes.
in a different company, a newer company.
Yeah. I just switched recently over to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services,
All
the
right.
company that's owned by Warren Buffett.
Okay, now explain what that company is and what it does.
Okay, so that is a very large order, especially someone who just started with them.
Well, what have they told you so
Okay,
far?
I mean, they told me that they place the customer first, right? That they provide home services, right? So we do a lot of different things besides just real estate sales and leasing. You know, obviously they have their own in-house title companies, they have their own in-house lenders, they have a huge marketing package based on that's how much we want to get the most for our customers. Right, because that's the name of the game. Try and do the best by the customer, so that way they only have good things. to
What do
say
they
about
do?
Us. We have. Have you heard of AdWorks? Okay, so there's a website, a company out there that that Berkshire partnered with. So like when you're searching for something and you say, like toasters, you know how you see pop up and all of a sudden you see toasters everywhere. Well, the same thing happens with one of our listings, right? So if you click on one of our listings, all of a sudden you're going to see it everywhere as well. On top of, we put, they put stuff in the newspaper, online marketing, we do mailers. They connect and they build relationships with other marketing companies to try and get the most exposure, so that way you're getting everybody, from dealing with, they have this website where if they post your listing, right, it'll show up in Italy in Italian. It'll show up in Germany in German, right? So it gets very specific. We're in Florida, right? So a lot of people are, you get a lot of people from different countries who want to, they love, they love the area. So, it grants that exposure more than what a lot of the other companies are doing.
What I like about Florida is a poor man's California.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
You can afford a house here.
yeah, you can. Hmm.
But, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law moved to California where he was working with the banks
Mhm.
at the time. And they bought a little modest three-bedroom ranch with a little pool in the back. It was
Yeah.
like $500,000.
Really?
What?
No way. No thanks.
That's about 50 grand here, you know?
right.
What?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, you get in some of these places that
Hmm.
the real estate is obnoxiously
Yeah.
expensive.
Well, I can actually give you an example. I have I'm doing a condo right now in North Palm. Because apparently I still go to Palm Beach.
Okay.
And it's for $230,000. These people are getting, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath updated condo with a boat, a dock that has ocean access, intercoastal access. Where else are you going to find that?
Well, that's pretty comparable to here
Exactly.
on the island.
Hmm.
Although some of those condos are much more expensive now.
Right.
We did a series of lectures, and one of them, which is up on the island toward Fort Pierce,
Mhm.
and I think their condos range from 150,000 to 800,000.
Right. Well, it just
You know,
depends on the
yeah,
view or whatever.
whatever you had and all
Size,
that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but those communities are really neat. Especially the only thing that scares me, if I was in a high rise on the island,
Hmm.
and at night I looked outside, I see nothing.
Right.
Total black.
Hmm.
There's not a street light. There's not a car. Nothing. It's total black out there.
Yeah.
Some people find that very comforting.
Yeah. Well, you also got the moonlight and everything
Yeah,
like
right.
that. So.
Right. It's very clear
Hmm.
and everything. So you're in real estate sales
I do real estate. I'm
Marketing.
a real estate advisor. Right.
advisor.
So
Okay. Now that's the next level.
yeah.
Yeah, people who sell real estate.
Yeah. So I do a whole bunch of different things, right? In the aspect of somebody comes to me, we're going to try and figure out what's the best option for them. I try to hold a fiduciary responsibility instead of a transaction responsibility, meaning that once you start working with me, you're kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
And what that means for you, right, is we're going to have a pretty consistent flow of communication. So I know we can figure out what's your needs, what's your wants, what's your desires, and how do we get you to where that is, right? And is it reality? Is this something that you can actually do? Because some
Right.
people, sometimes it's not. But I'm going to be upfront and honest with you and tell you exactly what it is. And I do everything from leasing to, like finding somebody an apartment to selling somebody's home, buying somebody's home, helping a first-time investor figure out how much of a return are they going to get on this, on their property. To just giving somebody guidance on like, okay, what's a good area I should be looking in. And to, I have connections with people in different parts of the country. So say you want to move to North Carolina, California, wherever.
See, audience out there, Caleb is a success in his business and didn't get a 4-year college degree, didn't get a 2-year college degree.
Mhm.
And excuse me. And not everyone needs a college degree. They
Right.
need education.
Mhm.
Okay. And I know that's kind of ironic. I taught at a college and I was administrator at college for 20 years.
Okay.
So I should be pushing college. But I think when you get people coming to this country, either legally or illegally, and don't have a specific trade or function,
Mhm.
they struggle all their lives
Yeah.
in menial jobs. Whereas if we started a more massive movement in terms of trade schools,
Sure.
like electrician, plumbing, carpentry,
Yeah.
auto repair, getting them certified in these areas. I know
Mhm.
plumbers that make $200,000.
I know.
I know carpenters that make $150,000. They're in 6-figure jobs.
Yeah.
Rather than picking
Mhm.
produce the rest of their lives. Now, there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But if there's a chance that they can elevate themselves and learn a little bit and get a better job, that's the American way.
Oh, absolutely. I can agree with that.
And I think we ought to put that push in terms of education.
Sure. Well, I think the issue is that the colleges have the dollars to be able to market it. Where
But they also have the philosophies that are counter to business.
what do you mean?
Well, we hear today all the radical, liberal professors that are teaching these kids, That's not happening rampantly. It's happening some places.
Right.
Okay. Because a good college provides a good education.
Yeah.
And a good, well-rounded education.
Right.
And maybe they can take a course in civics.
Yeah.
So they
Actually
learn a little
find out
bit
what's
about the
going on,
government,
yeah.
or how the government is structured and stuff. And the course in civics is a real eye-opener.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, people don't believe
I
it.
should have taken it.
Yeah, oh, really? We do that, or that's how that happens.
Yeah.
And again, we're still a country in progress.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, and it's taken a couple 100 years.
That's all right.
And it's hard for us to go into a country that's been dominated by a family for years and years and years and years, for centuries,
Yeah.
and say, okay, now you're going to be a democracy.
Right.
Well, it took us a couple hundred years, and we're still screwing up
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's
So we
okay,
got to
though.
realize that it's going to take them a little bit of
I know,
time.
right? Give them a couple.
Jump right in again.
Couple of centuries. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
a couple centuries ought to do it. We got to have a timeline. Once you sign up, you got 200 years to kind of get your act
get your-
together. And that's not politics specific. We're talking general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I was talking about earlier, everything has its learning curve.
Yep.
You know, the problem is people get I don't know if it's like today's society, but people get impatient. Like they don't see immediate results. You don't get that immediate gratification. They don't want to do anything anymore.
Well, from an old person,
Mhm.
one of the reasons is we've been indulged too much as younger people
Okay.
because our parents had it rough.
Yeah.
They gave us something so we wouldn't be as rough as them.
Sure.
We wouldn't have to suffer as much as them.
Yeah.
But we lost some of the values that our parents had when they were in
You had to work for it.
the work for it,
Mhm.
really work hard for it. Now, okay, I want a bike. Well, you got to earn your own money for your bike. What are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
Or you got to pay for half of it. What are you talking about? No, here's your bike.
Right.
You don't earn. You should be earning things
Yeah.
to learn the value of earning. I tell this story. My son and I were driving. I had a van and I bought a new tire and I had to get some money out of the bank. Anyway, picked him up after school and we're driving to this store. And I said, and he was like 12. I said, I'm going to give you a good lesson in economics. I pulled a $100 bill and I handed it to him. I said, here, you go in and pay for that tire and you can keep the change. He said, oh, wow, just look at this. Oh, and he's probably thinking the tire's only 40 cents.
I know, right?
He came back out in this dejected look on his face. I said, what happened? He had like 60 cents change. I said, there's your first economic lesson. It doesn't matter what you have in your hand. It's after you pay the bill, what do you have left?
Right.
Don't tell me how much you make per year. Tell me what your paycheck says.
Right.
Because they're going to take some money out. So,
Yeah.
what?
That's
I
right.
said, oh, yeah, now that's another lesson. It's not free.
That's right. Nothing in life is free. You got to work hard for it. That's what
Right.
I found anyways.
Yeah, right. So, kids need lessons, and you're going to be doing this. You probably are still doing this with your daughter now.
Mhm.
But as you go along, I punished my son.
Okay.
He had to earn half of what he wanted.
Right. That's. I don't think that's punishment. Though.
Well, his other friends just got the bike, got this and everything. So, no,
you
well,
don't learn nothing from that.
he'd get $5 a week if he, put the toilet seat down. He
Right.
got, if he made his bed, it was another $10 a week. So we added those things up.
Yeah.
And then within a couple of weeks, he had his money.
Okay.
But he earned it.
Right.
And when he got that bike, he felt like, well, I did part of this
Yeah.
myself.
We probably respected the bike more
Yeah.
too.
He got a job when he was 16 at a
Okay.
fast food restaurant. Come back the first night. How'd it go? I said, what? He said, you know what they had me do, Dad? They had me picking up cigarette butts out in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, let me ask you a question. What kind of skills and talents do you have that merited anything else?
Right.
How much do you make an hour? I said, what makes you think that they're going to give you more money for what you know and what you do right now?
Right.
So if you get yourself educated somehow or become a little more valuable, you're going to make more money.
Make more money. That's how it works.
So that we drove that. And then the last lesson, he called me a month ago and he said, you were really right. I'd love to hear that. Because parents don't hear that very often. Because he said, well, when you work for a company 30, 40 years, you should have part of that company. I said, no, look, they make a contract with you. It's a 2-week contract. You work 2 weeks, you get paid. Now
Yeah.
the cycle starts all over again.
Right.
You can be there 30 years, but every 2 weeks, you
New
do your job,
contract.
you get paid. And that's where your value comes in that company.
Right.
It's not that you're ever going to own it because they didn't say, the harder you work, the more you're going to get a piece of this thing.
Right.
They're saying you'll continue to have a job,
That's right.
but it's a 2-week process. He said, even in government, that's true.
Okay.
Sometimes we set our sights like, gee, I've been in this company 40 years. I don't want to watch. I want, 10% of your shares.
Yeah. Right.
Doesn't work that way. You're going to get to watch.
Yeah.
And then today's day, I don't know if you even get to
I
watch.
don't think so. I think they try to let you go right before it's time for
I
retirement.
mean, at least give the guy a Timex.
That's something, right?
No.
Polish it up real good.
Or if you're really good, get one with the solar
Yeah.
capacity like this one is.
Your fudge is
I've had
fancy
that
than
about
mine.
8 years and never wound it.
Okay.
Just keep it out in the light.
Well, we live in Florida, so it's
Yeah,
plenty of
it
sunshine.
helps. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good place to wear a watch.
Yeah.
Although I don't need a watch sometimes.
Well,
If I have a day where there's nothing to do, I don't care what time it is.
well, that's
Because I don't know, in
What the
5 minutes,
luxuries.
in 5 minutes, it's going to be dark. It
Right.
seems like
Yeah.
when I was a kid,
Mhm.
we would go out and play at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
Okay.
And it seemed like we were out there a couple of days and then we got called in for lunch. Things were at a real slow pace.
Sure.
And now I start off at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I look at my watch. I say, my God, it's 4:45.
Right.
What happened?
Where'd my day go?
Such a spin
Mhm.
that we have in this day and age. And it's kind of like, when you're pulling thread off of a baseball that's all wrapped up in thread,
Yeah.
it goes slowly as you're pulling. The smaller it gets, the faster it spins.
Okay.
The older you get, the faster the time seems to go.
Yeah. That's what what I've heard anyways.
I can't go outside and play for 3-4 hours and have lunch. I want lunch now.
That's right.
You know what?
On second
I'm
breakfast.
looking at the clock. We're supposed to break at 20 after for a
Uh-oh.
3-minute commercial thing. I think we ought to do a break. What do you think, Mike?
You got it.
Okay, here we go.
WSTU, it's time to go back to the forum with our host, Pat Zacco.
Thank you, Mike. We're here with Caleb talking about real estate,
That's right.
talking about real estate advising, real
Mhm.
estate consulting,
That's right.
and your title is real estate
I'm a real estate advisor.
advisor.
Yeah, real estate advisor for life. That's my
Okay.
tagline.
So you advise people to buy real estate, or you advise people who sell real estate? Which one do you do?
Well, it's all individualized because I mean, there isn't one uniform solution for everybody. I'm going to go and take a look at your entire situation, right? Your savings, your history, what kind of payment, what size do you need, and then we make a decision based off the actual data and the actual information. I really don't like uniform things because I mean, you might have like everything on the outside might look fine, but on the inside things might be a little different.
But you have to have the bank involved too, don't you?
Yeah.
In terms of how their
Absolutely.
credit
Mhm.
and how much the bank will afford to give them as a loan.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
can't say, okay, I've determined you would fit very well into a $250,000 home,
No.
and the bank says we'll only give you $100,000. Now
Right.
what?
Right. So
You
there's a couple different options. If you don't have the cash, obviously, and that's why we got a lender involved, which I have several different lenders that I have great relationships with, all from, people who do like those odds and ends things, who like not your uniform situation, your 700 credit score W-2 employee. I've done people with a 550 FICO score who were self-employed and got them regular down payment, regular interest rate and everything.
Really?
So yeah, I have a bunch of different options for whatever I'm like the easy button for people. They come to me when they have, issues, or if they are just,
My perception, I may be totally wrong in this. My
Sure.
perception is the more desperate you are, the easier it is to get money, but you pay more of a price.
yeah. I wouldn't say it's easier to get money.
But you pay more of a price.
Yeah,
And
you'll
not the
pay-
regular rate. You're a risk.
Right.
So the company is saying, I got to charge you more because you're a risk.
Well, the government has their own guidelines on what they'll allow for like interest rate and points and stuff like that. Sometimes you might have to pay a little bit extra up front to like buy your interest rate down.
Right,
or something
right.
like that. But, I've actually been pretty good with finding people their solution. Like I've had people who, hey, I need a $250,000 house for $175,000, and I've actually done pretty well at finding people the
And sometimes you
solutions.
can find those.
Yeah.
And people get desperate about selling.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go. We got to move. I got to have the money. I'll
Right.
just take whatever,
Well, not even so much desperate about selling, but if you just take a unique look at the market and you have to look at different avenues rather than just like, okay, what are we going to put 4 bedrooms, 3 baths for 175? Because you have to change. You might have to change something that you look at, right? Like what's the square footage?
Could be a
what's the
neighborhood that you
location?
might not want to move
Right.
to also.
Right. Or maybe you're on the edge of that neighborhood where it's still, it's still pretty good. It's all just have to take a unique look and find how can we fit your dream in your budget is the idea.
5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years from now, you're going to be a dilemma if you want to move somewhere because you're going to be looking for a good school district.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly your values change
Yeah.
because the reason you're going to do that, you want your kids to have a good education.
Absolutely.
If you go to that nicer home and that education is not as good, you probably won't do that.
Correct. Yeah. No.
So
I'm in
you're-
that same boat. I have a 7-year-old.
And the values change for that too.
Mhm.
Is she in a good school now?
Yeah. She's in
Okay,
good
all
school.
right,
She's in
good.
Parkway Elementary.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah, right. That's good.
Yeah,
Good
they're all
school.
right. I don't know. The ratings are decent, so I don't know nothing about. That's my wife. She'll tell you.
Oh, don't go there, Rue. You need to know, man.
I did my research.
Don't tell anybody you don't know.
Yeah,
Say, I know a lot, but my wife knows more. There you go.
That's right.
I defer to her.
Yeah.
Refer to her and
Mhm.
defer to her.
No.
Well, you have a long-term goal plan for employment?
Oh, absolutely.
What
Yeah.
is your long-term
So
goal?
my goal for this area, right, is I want to grow my business and cover the Treasure Coast and the Palm Beaches, right? Because I do quite a bit of business here in the Treasure Coast, and I do quite a bit of business in the Palm Beaches. So, I have some status now in the sense of I do deals here, I do deals there. I'm doing probably double the industry average. Usually they do about 1 a month. I'm doing about 2 to 3 a month.
Beautiful.
I have people helping me. I outsource some of the paperwork and stuff like that. Obviously I vet the people and make sure they're going to do the type of expertise that I provide. I demand from the people who help me as well.
Mhm.
So I make sure that I just want the whole process to be smooth. I like constant communication. I don't like. There's going to be fires, but let's cut the oxygen before they start. So once I grow enough here, I'm going to have more of a set team of people to kind of handle the day-to-day and, activities. I'd like to start growing in other areas. Maybe where I'm from, in the Finger Lakes region in New York, in parts of Virginia, and and just kind of see where it goes from there. That's the idea.
It's like City Furniture.
That's right.
Mark, what's his name? His last name? The guy does the commercials. For his family owns. He owns, and his family owns the business.
Okay.
And they started in Rochester.
Okay.
With mattresses.
Yeah.
And then expanded into Florida. I don't know how many they have now in Florida.
Yeah.
But the original was still in Rochester.
Yeah. Well,
Mark Schiller.
Okay.
Schiller's name is.
What's the name of the company? Do you know?
City Mattress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know they started in
all out
Rochester.
Well, yeah, Rochester's a unique community because it's not industrial basically at all.
Right.
It's all high tech. You have Kodak, Xerox, Bausch and Lomb,
Mhm.
and then there's another major company in there too. And they're all high tech
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird area.
Yeah. Actually, it is. It
Yeah.
is. It is. Like I say, it's confined. So when they have to get creative about things.
Yeah.
When they build a civic center, it has to be located at a right place
Right.
because they don't have extra land.
I know, right? It's not like you can go buy, and then like the surrounding suburbs, you can't just like go buy them out or anything because they're their own entities. So
Yeah, there was a real nice theater that had been a National Guard auditorium or whatever. They
Yeah.
converted into a beautiful theater.
Mm.
So, you take something and fix it rather
Yeah.
than rebuild it.
I know, right?
And then there was an amusement park up on the lake.
Okay.
What was that called? Seabreeze?
Oh yeah, Seabreeze.
Yeah,
Yep.
right,
Mhm.
right.
I was thinking there's another one called Roseland, but that's out in Canandaigua.
Yeah, it's Canandaigua,
Mhm.
right. With Canandaigua Lake.
Yeah, right out in
In fact,
Canandaigua.
the water speed record was held by a guy on, I think his name was Campbell,
Really?
on Canandaigua Lake. He had
I
one
didn't
of
know
those
that.
jet things,
Yeah.
but it's so long. I mean,
Right.
you
You
could
can actually get the
200-300 miles an hour, whatever he did on the water. Like, oh my God.
terrifying, right?
And the crowds would go down there and watch him all this. It was like a little version of the Indianapolis 500.
Right. Except for it's on the water.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. Can't stop as fast.
Speaking of sports, don't we have a race Saturday? Is
For which car
The
racing,
Belmont? No,
NASCAR,
the race-
horses? Yeah, sure,
The Belmont this
Sure.
weekend, right?
Yeah.
Right.
maybe.
Maybe.
It's
Maybe.
not the Kentucky Derby, so
Well, if it rains, it might look like it.
it might splishing and splashing around.
Did you realize the depth of that mud?
It was
when
incredible.
They were walking, yeah. Now, even when it's dry, there's still a depth of dust and stuff on that track.
Hmm.
Really?
And it forms nice mud if it's rain. Usually a horse with a 20, 30, 40 to 1 odds wins a race like that. They can run really well in the mud.
Yeah,
And the other ones
slows
are
everybody
not
down.
trained to run in the
Right.
mud.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know. Scares me because this was the 145th running of the Derby.
Okay.
And I was there at the 98th running of the Derby. It was 98th running of the Derby.
Yeah.
But I was slightly inebriated at the
Just
time.
a little bit. Just a little.
We were in the infield.
Okay.
And that they packed 200,000 people in the infield
That's too many people.
with these big pallets of mint juleps
Okay.
and a cone. And they, oh yeah.
You didn't lose too much money, did you?
I don't know. I don't remember. No, a friend of mine and I would have to go down at 4:00 in the morning. We were in Bloomington, Indiana,
Okay.
which is 50 miles away. We had to get in line by 4 a.m.
Yeah.
to get the tickets.
Mhm.
And there were people in line at 4 a.m. waiting for tickets.
Okay.
That's how valuable this thing was. And then, of course, we had to get our tickets to the other 12 or 13 people who slept in,
Right.
and they could come in whenever they
Yeah.
wanted to.
That's
but
real
we were
nice
there-
of them, right?
We were there at 4.
Somebody's got to be dedicated.
I know. It's like buying tickets to some event in New York City.
Yeah.
Some people put a little dome
Yeah. You get
tent
tents,
on
right?
the
Yeah.
sidewalk. I'm here 2 weeks.
Get this phone that it's going to be,
Yeah, right,
everybody's
right.
going to have it in 6 months.
And it's $2,000, but 6 months later it's $40.
I know, right?
Always buy it after the fact.
That's
And
right.
It's cheaper that way.
And it's and actually they've actually worked out the bugs at that point. When it first comes out, everything's got all the bugs.
Well, the computer too. I have to laugh. When I'm back in the day when Microsoft did Windows.
Mhm.
Okay, the first
Yeah.
version came out, and it was proprietary and secret and everything. At RIT, they broke it before it came out on the market. They broke the system. They could go in and clone it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
before they
impressive.
started selling it. Every version they're in there, and that was back I don't know how many years ago.
Right.
But you get these kids who are really smart with computers.
Yeah.
You know, they can do a whole lot of things.
A lot more than I can.
Oh, a lot more than I can too.
My gift is talking to people. That's about all I got.
Listen, I'm so bad. I have AOL, and AOL is what I call the Internet for Dummies.
Yeah.
There's nothing I need to learn.
Right.
I just push a button to do the next
Good to
thing.
go.
I like that. I don't have to do. I do other things in my life that are complicated.
Sure.
I want it real simple when I go on the computer.
No, I get that.
Real simple.
Well, I mean, the computers have changed how we live life, how we do business. I mean, in real estate, I know that back, I don't even know how long ago. Like there was, computers weren't involved. Everything was paper. Everything was hands-on. Where now, 90% of my job is on the computer.
And you can find out almost anything.
Yeah.
On Google,
Mhm.
almost anything.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day. Every time we were watching a show, and I know what it was. It was Blue Bloods.
Okay.
We were watching, and we already looked up the salary of Tom Selleck and the other cast
really?
and stuff, what they earn, because it's out there how much they make. Okay.
Yeah.
And there was a question about one of the characters, a younger girl, is the granddaughter on there. And I said, what's her name? And my wife said, this. I said, no, that's not right. She said, no, right off her phone. No, it was so-and-so. She was right. Then I went online to double check. Not that I would question my wife.
That's right. She just wanted to make sure you were wrong.
Well, I wanted to see the names of the other cast too, because
Okay.
and they have all these guests that have been there over the show. I don't know how many years, 10 years maybe.
Okay.
They've been on the air,
Sure.
and it's addictive.
Mm.
Sometimes you watch an episode and you watch a second episode.
Right.
Now you're going to watch a lot of episodes.
That's right. You're 5 in.
right.
It's 2:00 in the morning.
like Big Bang Theory, when they had their first year, they weren't sure they were going to renew for the second year.
Yeah.
And they just finished their 12th.
Okay. That's
12th and
impressive.
last.
Oh, the Big Bang Theory's done?
That's done. They
Okay.
had one episode that pulled a whole lot of stuff together.
Okay. Did they have like a jump the shark moment?
No, but I believe that the couch is going to go to the Smithsonian
Really?
for Sheldon's couch,
Really?
where Sheldon sat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an icon. It's
Yes.
a,
Yeah. I mean, The Simpsons are around. I mean, I think they're still making new
they're
episodes,
still
right?
making those, right?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Big Bang's done. NCIS, I thought was going to end this year, but they said there's another year coming
okay.
on that show. A lot of the shows have been around for a long time.
Sure.
The soaps,
Mm.
many years, many generations.
I actually don't watch TV, so all this information you're telling me, I'm like, okay.
Well, I'm selective in my watching
Sure.
on TV. I don't watch all this, sit there and
Yeah.
mindlessly go through
Mhm.
hour by hour. There's certain things I do
Yeah,
like.
pick something.
Although
up.
I am watching Jeopardy every night now.
Okay. Can you win yet?
The kid on Jeopardy is now $2,300,000. Ken Jennings was $2,500,000.
Right.
So he's close to breaking. But the guy who beat Ken was over $4 million. And I don't.
Nobody's beat Ken.
Oh yeah, money wise.
No.
Yes. Yes. The largest money winner on Jeopardy.
Oh, I was going to Google it.
See, that's because we get instant
That's
answers.
right. That instant
His
gratification I was
name
talking about.
is
Ken Jennings is the show's top money winner at $2.5 million.
well, who's the guy who beat him?
Nobody's beat him yet.
I thought he would.
No.
Oh, he beat him in the tournament. They had a special tournament. Ken came in second to this guy.
Oh, but he didn't make $4 million.
all right, so he didn't make $4 million. So this kid may set his record tonight.
Yeah, they say it could happen almost at any time.
What'll happen is, I don't know if you watch it at all. He's up to normally they're like $8,000 or $9,000. The lead guy,
Okay.
he's like 45,000,
Mhm.
and then bets almost all of it to go up again.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're done.
That's
We're
it.
done with this show.
All right.
See how fast? I told you this
Yeah.
is like a flu. Well, good luck in your business.
Oh, sure.
Anybody
Thanks,
can
Pat.
call you. Give them a phone number.
Sure, 561-876-4571, or you can find me on my website at calebsellsfl.com.
CalebSellsFL.com.
Mhm.
Terrific. Okay, next week we have another exciting guest on the forum.